Good evening and welcome back to the West Ham Network for Alex's TikTok Takeover, the interactive show where your comments kind of dictate how the show goes. We start off with a random subject where I start talking, I go to the comments, see your thoughts, and then we kind of just go from there, really. And tonight we're going to have a little chat about what is our best lineup? Where's our best lineup? After Lopetegui put out a very, let's say, controversial starting lineup against Fulham at the weekend because, well, I mean, I don't think any of us expected to see Souček in there and Antonio. Definitely not Antonio. I don't think any of us really expected it, considering the fact that he played 90 minutes against 90 minutes for Jamaica in one game and 82 minutes in another. I mean, he doesn't even play 90 minutes for West Ham. Doesn't even play 60 minutes for West Ham United most weeks, let alone twice in the space of 7 days. So I think that we were very surprised to see him. But so the question that I'm asking is what is going to be our best lineup? What is it? Because we've got obviously we've had a lot of new players come in, as we all know, especially in the midfield area. We have a lot of options there, and. Oh, 1 second. I shall be back in 2 seconds, guys. 1 second. Let me just oh, damn. Sorry, I do apologise about that. My wife is messaging me from upstairs, asking me if she just heard a noise. I'm just like, what do you mean a noise? What do you mean? Let me know. What noise are you talking about? I don't know if she's talking about me chatting down here or something. Anyway, right, well, I'm going to wait and see what she messages back. Which she hasn't. Anyway, right, we shall continue. Random start to the live. Where was I? Right, we were talking about our best lineup. Yeah, we've got a lot of new players coming, especially in the midfield. Obviously, we've seen quite a few of our new signings start already in Wan-Bissaka, who has cemented his place in that defence, along with Max Kilman as well, who, both of those players I thought have had very impressive starts, even though I didn't think they had their best game against Fulham. They both played really, really well. We have seen little cameos from Somerville. We've seen little cameos from Falkirk, who of course was injured at the weekend. Carlos Soler made his debut during the weekend as well. Rodriguez has been another mainstay in the starting lineup. So what is going to be our best starting lineup, and are we going to be putting our different starting lineups depending on who we are playing? Because I do believe that's probably where we're going to end up, where we're playing a team like Man City, we'll probably go a lot more defensive. But when we're playing a team like Ipswich, for example, we may go a little bit more attacking. Now, that is why I expected us to have a slightly different lineup against Fulham. Because, I mean, I wasn't surprised to see Alvarez and Rodriguez in that midfield playing that like double pivot. But Souček was a real surprise to me, him dropping Paquetá. I know a lot of people have been mentioning and talking about that he hasn't been putting in his best performances, but we know that is a little bit of a risk, and dropping Paquetá, because we didn't perform particularly well without him last season. But does that say that if someone is not putting in a particularly good performance for West Ham, he's not afraid to drop them? Which just kind of raised the question: why does he keep on playing players like Antonio and Souček? So, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of us were very confused at the weekend when it came to Lopetegui's starting lineup. I know I definitely was, and every single person that I spoke to at the stadium, because I was at Craven Cottage, felt exactly the same way. It felt like we were just going very, very defensive in that game, and there was just no creativity in that midfield. Luckily, though, or thankfully, at half time, Lopetegui saw, he realised his mistake and made the changes that I think that we were quite happy to, to see. I think a couple of people around me in the crowd was like, yeah, Somerville, we need him on. We need Paquetá off. Get Sojek off. Get Antonio off. And I said the same thing. I messaged the West Ham United group chat that we had, and I said exactly that. And I didn't think he would do it. And I was really, really surprised when he did. But I was glad he did it. David Moyes never would have done that. David Moyes would have just stuck with that starting 11 and see how it went until like the 65th, 70th minute and then made the changes. So I think that is a positive from Lopetegui, although it was definitely a negative, him putting out that starting line up in the first place. But I still do think he's experimenting with what he thinks may be his best starting lineup. Um, it's a little bit confusing to me why Todibo has barely had any game time. Did obviously start the Bournemouth game and came off at half time. He wasn't brilliant in that game, but I don't think he was absolutely terrible. So, yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think is going to be, our go-to starting 11? Once all the players are fit, once they've all settled in, what do you reckon it's going to be? Let's pop it into the comments and see who we have got in here today. Oh God, hello Randy, how you doing? Let's just go through a few of your comments because you have said a few. Remember when I mentioned the lineup that Lopetegui needed to play at Fulham? Feel like it's another missed opportunity for him, like the Bournemouth game. Yeah, that's pretty much what we mentioned there. And then I want Lopetegui to be successful, but he does not integrate the new signings effectively. Then questions about who chose Lopetegui, whether everyone wanted him, or if it was a split decision. Definitely a question to ask. And what I mean is Steidten and Noble wanted Almiron, while Sullivan and Will Sawhouse wanted Lopetegui. Thought I'd mention it because it's something that still bothers me, but I back Lopetegui still. And continues, finally, I will say that it will not look good on Sullivan for Lopetegui. If Lopetegui fails as an admission of guilt for listening to Will Sawhouse over putting the best interests of the club first. One more thing, as it likes West Ham getting the chef ingredients but not hiring the right chef to prepare them. I just hope the Chelsea he picks his best lineups. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Randy, for going through all that. I mean, look, there are some genuine points in there. Obviously, you're backing Lopetegui, which I still do 100%. You got to give him your full backing at the moment. Yeah, I mean, there was probably some discussion behind the scenes in regards to who we were going to bring in as manager. Lopetegui may have wanted Almiron, 100%, but I think it became pretty clear quickly that Almiron wasn't overly interested in coming to West Ham United. I think there may have been some other managers that we were considering. I think Fonseca's name was probably in there. Hans Flick, I think another name was in there as well. But I mean, he's come in and obviously West Ham have backed him, and Sullivan has. Steidten has, also backed him as well. One of the questions that I have, and that was always my worry when we were going, when we were going to go with the approach that we are currently going with, when it comes to you have someone like Steidten in the director of football thing, and he buys in the players, and then he gives them to the coach to work with. Now, how much say did Lopetegui have in some of the signings that we have brought in? Obviously, with players like Kilman, that was a Lopetegui choice. There may be a couple of other players in there that he may have been happy with. Somerville, for example, Carlos Sola, Rodriguez, possibly. I mean, played in Spain for a while, so Lopetegui was probably aware of him. But, players like Fulkrug and Todibo. Guilherme. I mean, Guilherme signed about 2 or 3 weeks after Lopetegui signed, so I don't think he had much say in that one either. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of him this season. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of time, and yeah, it may look a little bit silly on Sullivan if it all goes bad, but we always knew it was going to be a risk when it comes to a new manager. It may not work, it may work, it may take some time to work, or it may be a complete failure. And as I said at the time, that doesn't mean that getting rid of David Moyes was the wrong decision. It just means that we've made the wrong decision in who to replace him. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We are still way off that. And we just got to give it a little bit of time. But you make some very, very valid points there, Randy. 100%. Evening, Mark. How you doing? Evening, Stuart. How's it doing? Daniel, comment, is easier in defence only. Do you mean it's easier to pick the team when it's going defence only, or I'm not sure what you mean by that. Defence still isn't good. Need a central DM at the moment and DM not 2DM. Need a central DM at the moment and a DM not 2DM. Well, Rodriguez he does play. He can play DM, but he can also play in that 8 role as well. Throughout his career, he has kind of gravitated in between the two positions. So when Rodriguez came in, I always thought that he was going to be a player that could be utilised as an 8, but could also play in the role that Alvarez plays in when he's not available. So I was a little bit surprised when he decided to go that way. He is a little bit more defensive, but I feel like Rodriguez has done a while. He seems to have got better and better nearly every single game I see him, and I thought he was one of the better performances in the Fulham game. I thought he did. I thought he did okay there, and Alvarez was doing his usual job. But they don't have. He doesn't have a lot of creativity, and that is the issue. And I think that's why we bought Carlos Solerin. I think he is going to be that player that, I mean, can sit next. Can also play in that same role that Rodriguez is kind of playing in a double pivot with Alvarez, and then it gives the freedom to the number 10 up top. But sort of is from what I've seen and what I've done, worked out from my research, he's a very versatile player. He's played in some many positions throughout his career, like left mid, right mid, centre mid, defensive midfielder, attacking midfielder. Right, he is a very versatile player, but we'll have to wait and see how we utilise him. But I think the idea against Fulham was last year we conceded 5, and we did not want to do that again. And because Lopetegui was determined not for West Ham to do that again, even though he wasn't in charge last season, he probably went a little bit too defensive, and it backfired. It just didn't work for him. Luckily, though, he saw that mistake, made the changes at halftime, and we did improve in the second half, but it still wasn't a fantastic performance. Mark, Antonio and Sojic have no place in our starting lineup anymore. For the most part, I would agree with that. I think both should be utilised as subs, 100%. I get very frustrated when both of those are in the starting lineup because I don't think either have performed particularly well so far this season, even though Sojic did win the penalty in the first game of the season and did score the goal in the Crystal Palace game. Apart from what he has contributed there, I feel like he does very little, and he's the one that ultimately gave the ball away that led to Fulham's first goal. So that was a worry for me. And Antonio just doesn't have the same impact on the game anymore. He just doesn't. His touches are just continuously letting him down in the game against Fulham. I saw it so many times, even though I was at the other end of the pitch. I could see his face a lot of the time because he's got his back to the goal. He'll control it. His first touch is either what lets him down or it's his second touch that lets him down. And he just doesn't have that same impact anymore. But if you're bringing both those players off the bench to try and disrupt a very tired defence, then I think that will be a lot more impactful I think those players will have much more of an impact doing that role rather than starting, for me personally. Casablanca, Paquetá, Sola, Alvarez. I think that is a possibility. I do think that's probably. I think we. I think the idea when it comes to that midfield three is when we're planning to go a little bit more attacking, we may go with Paquetá, Sola, Alvarez, and when we want to go a little bit more defensive, we'll go with Alvarez, Rodriguez, and Paquetá or Sola. I still want to make an argument for Kudus playing in the number 10. I really do, because he's so wasted on that left hand side. So wasted on that left hand side for me. And when you play that midfield three, it does mean that Kudus has to go out on one of the wings. Now, if it's the right wing, I don't have a problem with that. That's one of his more natural positions. But then what we're doing with Bowen probably means playing Bowen up front, which, again, I don't have a huge problem with. I think he could do a job there. But then what about our other strikers? What about Fulquick? What about Antonio? What about Ings? I don't really want to be starting Antonio and don't really want to be starting Ings. But yeah, I mean, these are all questions which are genuine, very good. These are nice problems to have. It's nice problems to have options because it means you can try out different things. And if one thing doesn't work, then you can try something else. The problem is so far, I'm not seeing us try anything too different. And I do wonder how we're going to approach the game against Chelsea at the weekend. Randy? Maybe not Chelsea, but Brentford away, he needs to use one DM. Use Paquetá deeper, but Sola or Kudus, 10, Bowen right, Somerville left, Fulkirk up front, Kilman, Toledo, Everton. You haven't got Kudus in there, mate. You've got Kudus in there. Where are you going to put? Use DM, Paquetá, DM, Sola. Okay, yeah, Sola. Yeah, I'll put Kudus in then. Sorry, I misread that. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. I want to see more of Somerville. I think Somerville done a really good job when he came on against Fulham. I thought he was very lively, caused their defence a hell of a lot of problems, and I think he's earned a place in that starting lineup. You're right. Maybe not against Chelsea. I do expect he'll go with the same midfield. Well, not the same. I don't think he'll start Souček. I think he'll start Paquetá and he'll start Rodriguez and he'll start Alvarez to try and pack out that midfield a little bit more, which is probably a sensible idea against Chelsea. But I would personally start Somerville though. I feel like Somerville should start in that game because you need some pace up front. One of Chelsea's weaknesses this season has been their defence, so we do need some pace up there. And if you've got a front three of Bowen in the middle, Kudus on the right, Somerville on the left, that is pace, skill, goal scoring threat, and that's going to cause a lot of problems. So yeah, I mean, I would love to see Somerville start. Mark, Ariola, Wan-Bissaka, Toledo, Kilman, Emerson, Alvarez, Paquetá, Sola, Somerville, Kudus, Bowen. Yep, that's a decent lineup. It's putting Bowen up front, Kudus on the right, Somerville on the left. Leslie, certain players are now only suitable to come off the bench to change the game. Check Bros, Ings, Antonio. Yep. I think a lot of us are in very much in agreement there. Mark, head in. Alfonso, AWB, Kilman, Toledo, Emerson, Edson, Roddy, Bowen, Sola, Kudus, Somerville. Obviously, assuming Sola will run around. Yeah, he'd probably have to do a lot of running around. Bowen, so is that playing Edson and Sola in like a double pivot with Kudus in the 10, Somerville on the left, Bowen up front with Kudus on the right, Somerville on the left, yeah. No, yeah, I think that's decent. I say Roddy is the midfield of Edson and Roddy. I think we'll see a lot more against teams we need to be a lot more defensive against. Maybe away from home, maybe at home against the teams like Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. But I wouldn't like to see that in a game at home against a team where we should really be taking the game to the other team rather than the other way around. Randy again, with Lopetegui, if he chooses the strongest lineup and sticks with it going forward and it works, I will be happy. But if it does not work, but sticks with it, he will be happy. But if it does not work but sticks with it, he will get more leeway. So you'll be happy. One second. If Lopetegui, if he chooses the strongest lineup and sticks with it going forward and works, you will be happy. But if it does not work but sticks with it, he will get more leeway. I think he will get more leeway for a while. For a while. I mean, that will only last so long. Eventually, uh, eventually, people will get tired of that if he's playing the same starting lineup and it's not working. But he does need to find his strongest starting lineup, and you were right earlier with a comment you made in regards to these players need to be playing together. They need to be playing together. So we need to get Todibo into that starting lineup to be building that centre back partnership with Kilman. Because the sooner they do that, the better that partnership will get, and it will be going forward. Bringing Fulkirk into the side, we need to give the man a run out. We spent money on him. I know loads of people are very unsure about him. They're not convinced by him, but until he's had a proper run out, I don't think any of us can really judge him. He may turn out to be an absolute baller, score shitloads of goal for us, and be a steal. But it could go the opposite way. But we're not going to know until we give him a run out, and him keep on coming off the defence, or him keep on coming off the substitute bench. I just don't think that is the best way to integrate him into the side. Defence picks itself if Tobido works out. Front line 2 is Somerville starts. Midfield 3 has combos, which ironically links all together. Yeah, I think it is that midfield 3. I think everyone's in agreement that we want, well, for the most part, we want to see Somerville on that left, and then the right will change between Kudus and Bowen. Starting up front will Bowen, maybe Fulkirk. Number 10 could be Kudus, Paquetá, possibly. So I think it's like a front four. It's the two that are sitting behind. It's that midfield two. Alvarez, yes. Who plays alongside Alvarez? That's the question. You could have Paquetá there. You could have Sola there. You can have Souček there. We don't want to see it, but you can have Souček there as well. So we definitely have got a lot of options. Options that we haven't had for a while. Followed Ajax, they always say Kudus is better on the wing than at midfield. Yeah, I think off the right wing, he's definitely better, 100%. Stuart, Aria over me, Mavropanos, Emerson, Alvarez, Rodriguez, Bowen, Kudus, Pack, Ings. You put Ings in there as well. I mean, that's a genuine question. Like, do we give Ings a run out? He's never really had an opportunity, but I think that he's looked fairly decent in the games he's come on, and he did look decent in pre-season. So should he have a little bit more of a run out to see if he can get some consistency? He has been a great goal scorer in the past, and we just haven't been able to get the best out of him. Maybe under Lopetegui we could. That is the problem. Helen, how you doing? Even to you. Our problem is we don't score enough goals to win games. None of our strikers are good enough. Bowen scored 17 goals last season. So he definitely can. Fulkirk, we don't know yet. We're struggling to create chances at the moment. That's the one thing that I have noticed. We haven't created a huge amount of chances. So at first, I thought, right, okay, what Lopetegui is doing is he's concentrating on shoring that defence, and then he's going to, then work on the midfield, then work on the attack. But I don't know at the moment. I don't know. But we haven't been scoring enough goals at the moment. You're 100% right. But I think that is down to the fact that we have been struggling to create chances. John, how you doing? Souček is the best player we have for running around in circles, pointing at things. I can't argue with that. Oh, welcome back, Flawless. How you doing? Oh, Damien, how you doing? Right. Just to let you know, if you want to go talk about that man there, go find an Aston Villa chat because we're not going to talk about him tonight. We're not going to talk about him. Anyway. Oh my God, he's put Antonio in there. Can't be having that. All right, night, Damien. Yes, Falk is better than trying to place for a wrong side. We're not going to talk about it. Right. Howard, how you doing? Good evening, beautiful people. How are you doing tonight? Mark, it's great having a strong bench, but if we don't achieve anything this season, then good players are not going to want to stay. If we win stuff, then good players feel part of that achievement. No, that's 100%. I don't think any of these players have come in expecting us to go and win stuff. Like that will be the aim. That will be what they ultimately want. But I do believe that a lot of them do understand that first season with a lot of players coming in under a new manager, it may not click straight away. So I hope that they've all come in with that understanding. If they've come in expecting us to, you know, be knocking down trees and be winning stuff, then it's a great attitude to have to want to do that and to think it's possible because it 100% is. But they will also, I would hope they would have that understanding that, they may know that it may take a little bit of while, but it's on them. They will also know that it's on them to perform as well. It's, team performances is great, but individual performances as well, they have to be responsible for that. Ings deserves to start. He's on a goal run. Well, one goal. Guess won another game there. That's a goal run. Yeah. Oh, you would have spunked our transfer budget on Eze. What to play? He's a very similar player to Kudus, Eze, isn't he? Plays in kind of similar position as well. Maybe we will explore that if Kudus leaves next year. Possibly. I think Eze would be a great player to bring in if Kudus does leave. Since pre-season league scoring, yeah. No, we haven't seen beast mode in ages from Antonio. Antonio will have a period this season where we will see the best of him. It will probably come later on in the season, but he does always have little spurts during the season, and he'll have it at some point. But at the moment, he's off his game. He's off his game. So for me, can't be in that starting lineup because we can't force it. It's not happening at the moment. It's just not. It's a silly sport. Two teams of 11 millionaires, while the average supporter works all week to afford a lukewarm pie and tea. I can't argue. You can't argue with that comment, can you? I've never had it put that way, but makes sense. Makes sense. Jerry, how you doing? You're starting up. Ariola, AWP, Tobido, Kilman, Emerson, Kunis, Alvarez, Solar, Pack, Bowen, Falkirk, Somerville. Someone's put Falkirk in there. That's good to see. I want to see him in that starting lineup. I want to see him given a chance. Maybe Loppy is seeing the starting lineup in training and working hard, but it's just not working in the games, which will take time. Yeah, this is a point that I was making to someone I was chatting to day before yesterday. There may be some things that are going on behind the scenes that we're just not aware of. Like players may not be performing as expected in training. They may not be. He may be trying something out. So what might be going on behind the scene is we are trying something out. We've got an idea in our head of how we want to play, and that's what we're training on. But he hasn't perfected it yet. It's just not quite clicking yet. So we're working on that in training. So while we're working on that in training, he's putting that aside that he feels is just best to kind of do a job at the moment until we've got that working right, and then he brings it in. That is a possibility. I have heard of things like that happening before, so we will have to wait and see. But yeah, there may be some things. I mean, the reason why Paquetá was left out at the starting lineup, was it because he hadn't really been putting in some great performances for us before the international break? I don't know. Maybe he came back from Brazil and wasn't 100%, and we decided to rest him. I still ask the question why the hell we started Antonio if that was the case. But yeah, you don't know sometimes what is going on behind the scenes, and there may be reasons which the manager does not have to disclose as to why he has chosen their starting lineup. But the fact that he made the changes at half time says to me that he thought that that was the right team, and then realised pretty quickly that it didn't work and changed it. And hopefully, because he realised that he may change it up and try something slightly different for the game against Chelsea at the weekend. Ings over Mickey. Yeah, I mean, look, if you had a choice between starting either Danny Ings or Mikel Antonio, at the moment, I probably would start Danny Ings. I would. If you've got what I love the sound of, right? Let's just say like we're playing Falkirk in the game. Okay, and he does okay, he gets a goal. But they get a goal, and we need some goals. So what we decide to do is then we decide to put Mikel Antonio and Danny Ings on. We stick them up top as a two. That that could work. That could work. Two super subs right there. Danny Ings and Mikel Antonio coming on to terrorise defences. You never know. GP, you are rich if you can afford the pies. Yeah, we are expensive, West Ham. It's not West Ham though. It's not West Ham who are choosing these prices. It's the London Stadium. Like they deal with all the catering side of it. But yeah, it is bloody expensive at West Ham. 100%. I think we've got the joint most expensive. I think we got the most expensive pie in the Premier League, and we have the joint most expensive pints in the Premier League as well. I saw some figures come out the other day. Um, yeah, no, the prices you have to pay at London Stadium are ridiculous. Sometimes outside the stadium as well. I bought burger a couple of. What was it? I bought burger before the Bayer Leverkusen game. Now, I never buy food at the stadium usually, but I got there really early and I was hungry, so I bought a burger from one of the vans outside, and it cost me like 12 quid for a single cheeseburger. It was shocking. It didn't even taste good. It was like, oh, ridiculous prices in and around the London Stadium. Ridiculous. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much. I totally agree with you there. Randy, with Loppy recent team selections, I am happy that he at least tries to correct his mistakes. I just feel like pick the best lineup and our results improve with the style as well. Yeah, as I say, there might be some stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not 100% sure about, uh, but yeah, he needs to be picking the right lineup for the first. But we could he could put out the starting lineup that we think should be the starting lineup, and then it may not work. And then you could try the next week, and it may not work. And you could try the next week, it may not work. So we don't know if that starting lineup that we would like to see is going to work, but we won't know until it's tried. And so hopefully he does give it a go. Hopefully he does give it a go. I never wanted Moyes day one. I was anti Moyes. At the moment, I will back JLo, but if you pick. So you're gonna. I mean, look, I'm not going to agree. I'm not going to disagree with you, Ralph. No, we're not going to mention Moyes. We're not going to talk about Moyes. Moyes is gone. We'll mention Moyes in passing sometimes when doing comparisons, but who saw the Geo video of Rice? What was he wearing? It was like a modelling shoot, wasn't it? I'm not sure. I saw the video of it, but no, I have no idea what he's wearing. There's some kind of really weird suit with white bits down it. I don't know, but I know that he was being rinsed on X over it. Very many comments over that there was definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with that as well, David. Uh, Okay. I think apart from the Spurs fan over here, um, we all agree that Antonio is done there. Yeah, and one player nobody's talking about is Andy Irving, who in my opinion could be our sleeper man in the squad. The question: where would you place him? Andy Irving. I mean, I was surprised that he stayed, especially over James Ward-Prowse. That did surprise me. Um, I don't know. When we played him, he was playing more in the. He was playing centre mid, weren't he? And he was getting forward. He was a bit like a box to box midfielder. I did kind of liken him to Soucek, who gets in those positions, but seems to be a little bit better on the ball. Maybe Soucek is a better finisher. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing more of him, but I think given the amount of players that we have in that midfield at the moment, I would be very surprised if he starts. Very surprised. Imagine Loppy putting all 9 players and add 2 to see if that works. That would be interesting. How would that work? All 9 sides. So what? That'd be Fodrin in goal, right? It'd be Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, and Emerson at the back. Yeah, like because that would be the back 5. Then it'll be Rodriguez, Sola, um, with it's 10 signings, isn't it? It's 10. Rodriguez, Sola, Somerville left, Fulcrum through the middle, Guilherme in the number 10, and then Bowen on the right. I mean, that it doesn't sound too bad, that actually. Because I mean, look, if you just, I mean, apart from Fodder and goal, you still have Areola in there, wouldn't you? So it'd be Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson. You could probably work with Rodriguez and Solar. That could probably work, and you may see that combination at some point. You probably wouldn't have Guilherme in there, but you'd still have Bowen on the right, Somerville on the left, Kudus through the middle, and then you could have Fulkirk up top. I mean, that wouldn't be a terrible side. You'd still want to try and squeeze Paquetá in there at some point, so you probably would maybe swap out Solar for Paquetá. But I reckon we could at some point this season see a team starting with at least 7, possibly even 8 of our new. I mean, we could see a side that incorporates at least 7 of our new signings at some point this season, and I hope we do at some point. Could be 8. I said he was a similar player to Kudus. I didn't say he was Kudus. Playing both, Fulquick and Ings, little and large. Technically, I don't know. Ings is a lot taller than I give him credit for, actually. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I, I wouldn't be against playing a front 2 of Ings and Fulquick. Could be an interesting way to go at some point, maybe. The Rice video made my week. Best belly laugh I've had at the tournament. Don't want Lopetegui to keep fixing the start 11 problem. My fixing his own mistakes, as I feel like it might not be sustainable. No, that definitely won't be sustainable. You don't want to continue him starting a lineup and then having to fix the mistakes, because I don't think we can safely say that we've had a starting 11 that has worked from the beginning. I mean, maybe the Man City game, possibly. I feel like that was probably the best starting lineup we've put out so far for the game. But apart from that, I mean, the Palace game, it was a poor first half. It improved when we made the subs. The Fulham game away from home, poor starting lineup. It improved when we made the subs. The Villa game, yeah, maybe, possibly. The Bournemouth game was an interesting starting lineup, but again, did improve when we made subs. So I don't think we've got the starting lineup right just yet, but I do believe we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Antonio will have his beast mode after he's left us. Possibly. Possibly. Pick players on form, not favourites like Moyes. I totally agree with that. Players on form all the time. Um, but yeah, Moyes used to pick favourites, didn't he? He did. So yeah, no, we definitely need to be doing that. Souček, not a 10. Learn this. Yeah, I agree there. At least Fulker controlled these 14 passes. This is true. This is true. He does look very comfortable on the ball, Fulker. Got good movement on him as well. But he doesn't have the pace, but I think he's got good movement. He's got a great finish on him. So hopefully we'll see. How many did we score against Everton pre-season? We scored 5. On 5-0. It was only 30 minutes each way. Irving got 2, Ings got a hat-trick. Remember that. Yes, I did. Richard, how you doing? Antonio and Ings, Creswell and Sofel and Fabianski and Souček are not the future. Well, no, they're not the future, are they? I mean, you've just mentioned. I mean, Antonio 34 now, isn't he? Ings 32, Creswell 35 nearly, Sofel 31, I think. Fabianski like 38, and Souček hitting 30 as well. No, they're not the future. No, they're not the future. But the future is beyond like this season and further forward. By the end of the season, I don't unless we've got injuries, I don't see any of these players starting games. But while we've got them, if we can get the best out of them and utilise them, then that's what we've got to do. We can't just like not play them at all. I just feel like there's better ways of utilising them, like off the bench. Talking about my burger, I need to catch up with these guys. 12 quid for 12 quid. Expect Russ to cook me, and do a twerk. For 12 quid, you would pay 12 quid for Russ to cook you a burger and then twerk while you ate it. Respect. Right, let's catch up with these comments because we need to move back. I was originally left back, if you really must know, but I also played left wing and I also played striker. Look, I wasn't the greatest footballer in the world. I'm never going to pretend I was. I was never fit enough to play 90 minutes. I never was. But I was good on the ball. I have a wicked left foot, and so that's why I was in the team and on the left wing a lot of the time. But unfortunately, it doesn't require you to believe me. Anyway. Rice Vid was funny when he gave as a penalty at their place. Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? As mentioned, when we get to Everton at home, I'm hoping our style has improved and we have more points on the board by then, as we know where we stand, and then the judgment will be made on Lopetegui. Yeah, when's Everton at home? When is Everton at home? I can't think that far forward at the moment. Is that this year? Was it? I haven't got the schedule in front of me at the moment. But yeah, I'm hoping by, I don't know, game week 10, we're seeing an improved performance and a more stable starting lineup. That's what I would hope. That's what I would hope. Colin, how you doing? Alex, good. Only just joined the chat. I was mystified to see that lineup, especially to see Souček as a number 10 and Antonio up top. Glad we got a point. Not sure we deserved it. No, I don't think we deserved that point. To be honest with you, I thought Fulham were the better team, and we were a little bit lucky. But saying that, I thought it was, we deserved that goal. Maybe the keeper should have done a little bit better, but the quick throw in by Sofel, clever thinking. Bowen running his art out to get to the line before it went over, great. And Danny Ings' first touch, second touch, shot, all decent. We just probably got lucky that the keeper didn't handle it as well. But yeah, overall, throughout the game, I don't think we deserve much from it. But I'm happy. I'm happy at the moment that we've got 4 points at this stage of the season. I think that is a positive, considering who we played. Aston Villa at home, team in the Champions League, very good team. Man City at home, a game we never win, never expect to win. where we put in a decent performance, and then a win away to Crystal Palace, and then a draw away to Fulham. We're unbeaten away from home so far this season. That's a positive. We may not have deserved the draw against Fulham, but we deserved the win against Palace, that is for sure. So, yeah, there are some positives. If we play on merit, we'll have half a squad playing Chelsea next Premier game. If we play on merit, we'll have half a squad. Well, you've got to play. You've got to play some of the players. I think sometimes you've got to. If you've got replacements for the players who are not performing, you put the replacements in. If you don't have replacements for the players who are not, you've got to put your trust in them, haven't you? Really. So yeah, you're never gonna. I did stick it up for a brief second and said, "Oh, you got Antonio," and then didn't take it seriously. Oliver, how you doing? Your ideal starting lineup for you is Ariola, Emerson, Kilman, Todivo, AWP, Alvarez, Paquetá, Sola, Somerville, Falkirk, Bowen. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's 11 players. So it's Alvarez and Paquetá playing in the midfield too. Sola playing in the midfield too with Paquetá just ahead. You got no Kudus in there. Got no Kudus in there. You drop him. You'll drop Kudus. I've not heard that. I mean, I don't think he did put in his best performance against Fulham. But that's a bold one. That's a bold move. I haven't heard that one before, dropping Kudus. Wouldn't be my choice, but, respect the opinion. Budgie, how you doing? Hi, Alex. For me, the better choice to start versus Chelsea would be Ings. Their back four leave big gaps for him to worm into. And that's a good point. I mean, yeah, I think I mentioned earlier that Chelsea's weakness is their defence. Obviously, going forward, they look very dangerous. They've got a lot of exciting attacking players that they can score goals, but they are very, they do have a poor defence that will concede goals as well. So. Yeah, starting Ings is a shout. Is a shout. I'm not sure if it would be the best choice personally for me, but I can understand why some people go for that. 9th of November, is that that's the Everton game? So that'll be just before the third international break that we got coming so far. So yeah, it's going to be about 10 games, isn't it? Because we've got 5th game against Chelsea, 6th game will be Brentford, then it'll be Ipswich, and then it's an international break. So yeah, it'll be about a 10th, 11th game. I can't go with AJP. I can't. Solanke, I like Solanke. I was a little bit gutted that we didn't even try and attempt to sign him, because I think that he would do really well for us. I actually think that he would probably suit us a little bit better than he's suiting Tottenham. I liked him. You're right. That's all I saw. That's all I saw when I saw his starting lineup. SP. That's all I saw. Solanke would have been a good signing. That's up here. Everton at home would be 9th of November after favourable fixtures. Yeah, I mean there are some favourable fixtures, aren't they? So I think I just mentioned who we got. Who we got our first one after the international break? Because I think we've got Ipswich just before it, haven't we? Okay, Damien, there you go. Look, I will put out your starting lineup, and I totally agree with absolutely everything you have said there, apart from the centre forward. After Everton at home, it will be international break with Newcastle away, then Arsenal at home. Well, that's 2 difficult fixtures, isn't it? Very difficult fixtures. You agree with Ings versus Chelsea? Fair enough. Anyone else think we should start Ings versus Chelsea? I'm not overly convinced, but maybe I can be convinced. Could moving Curtis to a central position be the spark to better performances? I have wanted to see him play in that centre for so long, so I would love to see it. I think it could be a bold move, but I think it's a move that could work. Chelsea, Alex, do you think this team would work? One, obviously with Arietta, a three with Kilman, Tobido, and AWP, a two of Alvarez and Rodriguez, double in a double pivot, Somerville left wing, Paquetá, Kudus, Bowen right wing, Ings up front. I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? Playing three at the back. I would be worried about playing three at the back against Chelsea, especially with their pace down the wings. Like Madike and Sancho. I mean, they also do have Mudryk as well, and then you've got Cole Palmer you've got to worry about. So I'm not sure going to a back three against Chelsea would be the right way, but it wouldn't be something I would be against. I would be against seeing in another game possibly. It would cause defences a nightmare, that team. I can agree. I do worry about it a little bit defensively though. Just need pace to compensate, maybe. I'm glad I'm sitting down because Damien's just agreed with me. I don't think I've ever seen that. But no, I do agree. I think Solanke would have been a good player to bring to West Ham. Oliver, other than first lineup, I put in. Do you think a 3-5-2 could be consideration? Kilman Alvarez could be a Alvarez, Davido, Somerville, Pack, Kudus, Solar, AWP, Fulquick and Bowen up top. I think everyone fits in. I mean, that's fitting a lot of players in. So that'd be the back three. So the back three would be what? Kilman, Tobido, and Alvarez. With what? Somerville left wing back, AWP right wing back, Paquetá, Kudus, Solar. So Paquetá and Kudus were playing in the kind of double pivot with Kudus playing in the 10 with the two up front of Fulquick and Bow. It does fit everyone in. That's very attacking though. Very attacking. That's a lot more attacking than I would ever expect any West Ham United manager to go, but I'd love to see it one time. See how it went. Love to see it. Never raised Solanke in your opinion. That's fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion on this page. It definitely is. It definitely are. And I don't, Damien, I do respect your opinion of Antonio. It's just so far this season, he has not been putting in any decent performances. Can you say that he has been performing anywhere close to what we know he has performed like in the past? Can you say that about Antonio at the moment? Because that's the one reason. We know he can be good, and he has been good. We're not seeing it at the moment. We're not seeing it. Daniel, be nice to see players running back with intent. I've seen a few people jogging back. Lopetegui needs to nip this in the bud if we're going to progress this season. Yeah, I mean, that was one of my complaints about AWP against Fulham. He was getting caught forward quite big. He was going forward a lot, and he was caught forward for their goal. That's why Emil Smith Rowe had so much space down that left hand side, because AWP was too far forward. We lost the ball, and we weren't running back. We do need a little bit more intensity in our game. That is one thing I've noticed, which has surprised me because that was one thing that I did expect from a Lopetegui team. While I wasn't sure what else to expect from him, one of the things that I did expect was for us to have a little bit more intensity than what we have had so far. So if we can see a little bit more of that intensity, I'll be happy. You feel like Loppy will hold back Todibo and Falkirk for Liverpool Cup game? Possibly. That's that's a difficult game to stick Todibo in there for. But you never know. Falkirk, how did they do? What's it? Liverpool winning 3-1 at Milan at the moment, so they're putting a decent performance there. But they did lose at home against Forest at the weekend. Ings has the goal scoring home, keep him in there. Fair enough. Connor's in Southampton. Has he actually played for Southampton yet? Does anyone know? You criticised my belief of Antonio starting more than a 4-3-1, whatever that is. 3-2-4-1. I wasn't overly keen on a 3-2-4-1. By the way, I didn't say I was keen on that. I said it would be interesting to see. It's nothing I've ever seen before. I like seeing things I haven't seen before because you never know how they're going to work out. Unfortunately, with Antonio, I know what we're going to get from him at the moment, and it's just not good enough. So. We need to be able to create chances against Chelsea, so we need to go strong. But Chelsea have got some good attacking talent, so we need to get that balance right. Yeah, that's why I feel like we may go a touch more attacking than what we did against Fulham, but still have the two defensive midfielders in Rodriguez and Alvarez in there as well. And then you've basically got 6 defenders, 5 attackers. And I feel like that'd be a good balance. How exactly they would work, I'm not sure. What 5 attackers would they be? Not sure. I would personally like to see Somerville on the left and Bowen up top and Kudus on the right, with Paquetá in there as well, because if we need to be a little bit more defensive, Paquetá can do that defensive work. He does get back, he does run about, and he can put in some good challenges. So that would probably be my preferred choice. We are shite with back three most of the time for years now. Yeah, it hasn't really worked, but we have got a completely different defence now compared to what we've had in years. So a back three might end up working for us. You don't know. Chelsea will rip us apart if we don't surf out Wild Crest. Well, one of them may have to play. It depends on Emerson's injury. Now, I think I did see something earlier saying that it's not as bad as Thurstal, so he may be available for the Chelsea game. But if he's not, then either Sofa or Crest will be in the side. Cornet got booked. We did something then. No, I can agree with that. Not everyone else has not played brilliantly. But with Antonio, we've got other options. You know, we said Socek, we'll put him out and bring someone else in. I'll put Paquetá in. Or we said pull Paquetá out, but Paquetá has got the ability to play shit for 85 minutes and just have 5 minutes of magic. Antonio only has the ability of playing 60 minutes and maybe pulling out a minute of magic. But I think it's more likely that Paquetá can contribute on playing a shit game than Antonio does personally. So I think when it comes to Antonio, he's playing up front. He's supposed to be the goal scorer, and if he's not scoring goals, then you've got to bring someone else in to see if they can do a better job. Marshall having the best loan so far. Yeah, no, he's doing really well. It's Huddersfield, isn't he? Is that? I think it is. Yeah. No, he's doing well. Freddie Potts' loans looks like a waste of time. Oh, I hope it isn't. We'll have to wait and see, but it's not great stuff for him, is it? Creswell is way past it for Chelsea. Play Creswell against lower table teams where he can have an impact still. Yeah. I don't think we'll play. I think we'll play Sofel at right and Wan-Bissaka at left back before we play Creswell. Because that seems to be Lopetegui's preferred option. Because when Everson has come off in the last couple of games, Wan-Bissaka has moved over to that left-hand side, and Sofel has come on. So getting booked is a positive from what he did for us. That's nice. It's a bit mean, but true. Antonio did brilliant for us for a few seasons. I love Antonio for what he's done, but he's just not performing at the moment. Anyway, right. We'll say whatever. I think all the questions are getting pretty repetitive. We just hit that hour mark, so that tends to be my limit for these lives. But it's been a good one today. It's been a good one. We had some good conversations, mostly about the lineup. I think we're all pretty much on the same page when it comes to the starting lineup. Definitely when it comes to defence and attack. Well, we want to see Somerville start. We want to see Paxar Kudas bowing in there. There are some differing opinions on who should start up top. There are some differing opinions who should start in that midfield. And I think it's going to very much depend on who we're playing. If we're playing a team that we need to be a little bit more defensive with, the midfield will be naturally more defensive. But if we're playing a team where we need to take the game to them, we may go a little bit more attacking. I think that's what we would all like to see. Is that what will happen? I'm not sure. We will have to wait and see. Anyway, I am going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching over here. If you want to see more of me, make sure you are following the West Ham Network Extra, the YouTube page where I'll be posting videos, and I should be live on Thursday night chatting to a Chelsea fan about the Chelsea game on Thursday. So, if you want to be around for that, it's probably going to be a later one. That's probably going to be around this time because he works late, so he may not be available till around 9:30. So it could be a late one on Thursday. Yeah, I will be back next Tuesday. I will be at the Chelsea game on Saturday. So if you see me, don't forget to say hi. And if you want to see more updates regular from me, come follow me over on TikTok, West Ham Fan 86. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I shall see you next week. Come on, you Irons.